Okay, hi everyone, welcome back to this video series on Cisco ASA firewalls initial setup. If you are setting up a new security appliance, it must be configured from the CLI first. You cannot use ADSM until the security appliance is configured with the appropriate IP address and it has IP connectivity to ASDM client machine initial setup via CLI. When the security appliance is booted with no configuration, it offers a setup menu that enables you to configure the parameters such as the device name and the IP address. You can choose to go through the initial setup menu for a quick configuration. In example 3.4, a security appliance prompts users to specify whether they wish to go through the interactive menu to pre-configure the device. If a user types no, the interactive menu is not shown and the security appliance shows the Cisco ASA prompt. If a user types yes, the default option, the security appliance walks the user through the configuration of 10 parameters. The security appliance shows the default values in brackets before prompting the user to accept or change them. To accept the default input, press enter. After going through the initial setup menu, the security appliance displays the summary of the new configuration before prompting the user to accept or reject it. So you can see here example 3.4 initial setup menu. You can see here again. So table 3.2 lists all parameters that can be configured in the initial setup menu. It also provides a brief description of each parameter along with the default and configured values. Initial setup of ADSM. Before you can access the ADSM graphical console, you must install the ASDM software image on the local flash of the security appliance. The ASDM console can manage a local security appliance only. Therefore, if you need to manage multiple security appliances, the ASDM software can be installed on all Cisco ASAs. However, a single workstation can launch multiple instances of ASDM appliance to manage different appliances. Optionally, you can leverage Cisco Security Manager CSM to configure multiple appliances simultaneously. So initial setup parameters and their values: parameter, description, default value, configure value. Enable password specifies the enable password non $C1C0123. Firewall mode, set up the security appliance as layer 2, transparent or layer 3 routed firewall, routed. Inside IP address specifies the IP address on the inside interface non 192.168.10.1. Inside subnet mask specifies the subnet mask on the inside interface non 255.255.255.0. Hostname sets the hostname on the device Cisco ASA Chicago. Domain name sets the domain name on the device non secure meinc.com. IP address of host running device manager specifies the IP address of the host machine responsible for managing the Cisco ASA non 192.168.10.77. Clock sets up the current time on the Cisco ASA, varies 9:27 p.m. 21st 2009. Save configuration prompts the user if configuration needs to be saved. Yes. Allow password recovery prompts the user if password recovery is allowed. Yes. Uploading ADSM. You can use the dir command to determine whether the ADSM software is installed. If the security appliance does not have the ADSM software, you first need to upload the image from an external file server using one of the supported protocols. The appliance needs to be set up for basic configuration such as interface names, security levels, IP addresses, and proper routes discussed later in this chapter. After setting up basic information, use the copy command to transfer the image file as shown in 3.5, where an ASDM file named ADSM 621.bin is being copied from a TFTP server located at 192.168.10.10. Verify the content of the local flash after the file is successfully uploaded. So setting up the appliance. Okay. When the ADSM file is accessed, the Cisco ASA loads the first ASDM image that it finds from the local flash. If multiple ASDM images exist in flash, use the ASDM image command and specify the location of the ASDM image you want to load. This ensures that the appliance always loads a specified image when ASDM is launched. In example 3.6, the appliance is set up to use ASDM 621.bin as the ASDM image file. The security appliance uses the Secure Socket Layer SSL protocol to communicate with the client. Consequently, the security appliance acts as a web server to process the requests from the clients. You must enable the web server on the appliance by using the HTTP server enable command. The security appliance discards the incoming requests until the ASDM client's IP address is in the trusted network to access the HTTP engine. In example 3.7, the administrator enables the HTTP engine and sets up the appliance to trust the 192.168.10.0/24 network connected towards the inside interface. So you can see here, example 3.7, enabling the HTTP server Chicago config hash HTTP server enable Chicago config HTTP 192.168.10.0 255.255.255.0 inside. Accessing ADSM. ADSM's interface can be accessed from any workstation whose IP address is in the trusted network list. Before you establish the secure connection to the appliance, verify that the IP connectivity exists between the workstation and the Cisco ASA. To establish an SSL connection, launch a browser and point the URL to the appliance IP address. In figure 3.5, the administrator accesses ASDM by entering HTTP 192.168/admin as the URL. The URL is directed to HTTP 192.168.10.1/admin/public/index.html. So you can see here, here's the Cisco ADSM management, or admin, I should say. The new security appliance presents its self-signed certificate to the workstation so that a secure connection can be established. If the certificate is accepted, the security appliance prompts the user to present authentication credentials. If the ADSM authentication or enable password is not set up, there is no default username or password. If enable password is defined, there is no default username, and you must use enable password as the login password if the user authentication is enabled on the security appliance through the use of the AAA authentication HTTP console command. Then those login credentials must be provided. After a successful user authentication, the appliance presents two ways to launch ASDM. Run ASDM as Java Web Start application. The security appliance launches ASDM in the client's browser as a Java applet. This option is not feasible if a firewall that filters out Java applets exists between the client and the security appliance. Run ADSM as a local application. The security appliance offers a setup utility called ASDM launcher.msi, which can be saved to the workstation's local hard drive. When the ASDM application is launched, it prompts for the IP address of the security appliance to which you are trying to connect, as well as the user authentication credentials. Figure 3.6 illustrates this, where an SSL connection is being made to an appliance located at 192.168.10.1. If you have an enabled password configured, specify it under password and leave the username blank to log into ASDM. If the user authentication is successful, ASDM checks the current version of the installer application and downloads a new copy if necessary. It loads the current configuration from the security appliance and displays it in the GUI as shown in figure 3.7. As you can see here, ADSM divides the initial screen, also known as the home screen, into the following 6 sections. Device information displays the hardware and software information of the security appliance, such as the current version of operating system and the device name. If the license tab is selected, ASDM shows the features that are enabled on the security appliance. VPN sessions displays the number of active IPsec, clientless and any connect SSL VPN tunnels. System resource status provides the current status of CPU and memory usage on the appliance. Interface status displays the interface name and the assigned IP address. It also shows the link information of the currently configured interfaces and the rate of traffic passing through them. Traffic status provides information about the number of active TCP and UDP connections and the traffic rate passing through the outside interface. Latest ASDM syslog messages shows the latest ASDM syslog messages that are generated by the security appliance. Syslogging is enabled by default and needs to be enabled for log monitoring. When enabled, the security appliance sends the messages to the ADSM client. This is discussed later in the chapter in the system logging section. The statistics of the home screen is refreshed every 10 seconds and show the information for the last 5 minutes. ASDM shows 3 additional tabs on the home screen. They include a firewall dashboard tab. The firewall dashboard tab presents statistical information about the traffic passing through your security appliance. This includes the number of connections, NAT translations, dropped packets, attacks, and top usage statistics. Content security tab. The content security tab displays information about the content security and control CSCSSM. The pane appears only if a CSCSSM is installed in the adaptive security appliance. IPS tab, the intrusion prevention system tab, displays information about the IPS module if present. Functional screens of ADSM. In addition to the home screen, the ASDM interface comes with the following 2 functional screens: configuration screen, monitoring screen. Configuration screen. The configuration screen is useful when the new or existing configuration needs to be modified. On the left side, it contains 5 to 6 feature icons, depending on the hardware setup of the appliance as shown in figure 3.8, as you can see here. The features icon of the configuration screen are as follows: device setup, configures interfaces and sub-interfaces on the security appliance. Firewall, helpful in creating security policies to filter and to translate packets traversing through the appliance. It also enables you to define QoS, which is quality of service, AAA certificates, and many other firewall related features. Remote access VPN sets up the remote access VPN connections such as IPsec, L2TP over IPsec, clientless SSL VPN, and any connect tunnels. Site-to-site VPN sets up the site-to-site VPN tunnels. IPS sets up policies for the SSM card to monitor and drop unauthorized packets. This icon is not visible if an SSM card is not present. Device management here, the basic device feature can be set up. Most of these features are discussed later in the chapter, helpful in setting up the basic software features such as system logging and failover. Monitoring screen. The monitoring screen displays statistics about the hardware and software features of the security appliance. ASDM provides real-time graphs to monitor the appliance's health and status. Figure 3.9 shows the initial monitoring screen. Similar to the configuration screen, the monitoring screen also displays 5 or 6 icons depending on whether or not you have the SSM module installed. The features of the monitoring screen are described below. Interfaces, monitors interfaces and sub-interfaces by maintaining ARP, which is Address Resolution Protocol, DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, and Dynamic ACLs, which is Access Control Lists tables. It also provides a graphical representation of interface utilization and packet throughput. VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network, monitors the active VPN connections on the security appliance. It provides graphs and statistical analysis of the site-to-site IPsec and SSL VPN-based remote access tunnels. IPS provides information for the packets going through the IPS engine. This icon is not present if the IPS module is not installed. Routing displays the current routing table and provides information on EIGRP and OSPF neighbors. Properties monitors active administrative sessions such as Telnet, SSH, and ASDM. It also provides graphical information about CPU, memory, and blocks utilization. Provides graphical information about the active translations and UDP TCP connections. It provides graphical information of the IP audit, WCCP, CRL, and DNS cache information. Logging displays log messages as live events. It also shows log messages from the buffer space. Trend Micro Content Security, ASDM, enables you to monitor the CSC SSM statistics as well as CSC SSM related features such as types of threats detected by the module, live event logs for real-time monitoring, and resource utilization graphs. Device setup. After you have connectivity to the security device either via CLI or ASDM, you are ready to start configuring the device. This section guides you to configure the security appliance for basic setup. So I'm going to leave here this evening for this video. If you like listening, please consider like, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you.